The 82nd Invalid Corps at Lafayette Barracks in Baltimore, Maryland was lucky enough to have a sutler to purchase items on credit. The problem with this is the men were not getting regular pay to pay off the sutler. The sutler, F.B. Frisbee, wrote a letter to the officers of the 82nd and 104th Invalid Corps at Lafayette Barracks asking, "Have these companies been paid off yet? If so, please notify me at your earliest convenience." Was delayed pay a common occurrence? In January of 1864, William Groff wrote home saying, "We have not got paid off yet, and I don't think we will get any pay until March." This was written in January. What reasons could there be for delay in pay? It seems a common reason for delayed pay was simply being moved into the Invalid Corps. Going from your original enlistment unit to a hospital, then to the Invalid Corps, was a number of steps that the paymaster didn't acknowledge until the soldier was settled in the Invalid Corps. While waiting in a hospital to see where he would be placed, William Bartlett wrote home saying, "It is not the government's fault that I have not received my pay, but it is because I have been away from my regiment." Once the soldier was moved to the Invalid Corps, the chief clerk would need to catch the paperwork of the soldiers needing pay and inform the paymaster. This was the case for Private Rome, who went from the 32nd Massachusetts to the 9th VRC, Corporal Burton, 3rd Regiment Massachusetts, to the 9th Invalid Corps, Private Groovestein, 157th New York, to the 12th Invalid Corps, Corporal Richards, 2nd Maine Artillery, to the 1st Invalid Corps, Private Cortair of the 124th New York to the 21st Company 2nd Battalion Invalid Corps. Sometimes paperwork would be lost, misplaced, or pending while the soldier was in the hospital or went back to a hospital after being placed in the Invalid Corps. This was the case for Private Hargraves, who was in the 1st Invalid Corps, who was absent sick in Rallorama Hospital, Private Lambrecht of the 37th Company 2nd Battalion Invalid Corps, who was in Division Hospital and later West Building Hospital, Private Wolfer, 36th Company 2nd Battalion Invalid Corps, who was in Division Hospital. Some soldiers would be absent during pay on special assignment, such as Private Cook with the 116th Company 2nd Battalion VRC, Private Rescher of the 144th Company 2nd Battalion VRC, Sergeant Helen of the 12th Invalid Corps, who was ordered away to be General Ward Master over Judiciary Square Hospital. If the chief clerk or paymaster didn't catch the soldier's movements and didn't change the soldier's pay status, the officer in charge of the soldier would need to catch the transfer and request an updated pay, such with Private Studley, 6th VRC, Private Schaefer, 6th Invalid Corps, Private Hope, 10th Invalid Corps, Private Canty, 8th Company 2nd Battalion Invalid Corps, Private Whitcraft, 7th Company 2nd Battalion. A delay in pay could also be the officer's error if not keeping proper records or having sloppy records, such as the case of Lieutenant Norton, commanding the 22nd Company 2nd Battalion Invalid Corps, who was told his records were in such a state that many of the men cannot be paid. A little effort, the men may all be enabled to draw their pay. With soldiers' records updated, transfers complete, special duties accounted for, and paperwork cleaned up and updated, the men of the Corps could all successfully claim their pay. William Bartlett later wrote home to say, "I can afford to stay as long as they can afford to pay me. You get $12 a month. I also get $13 and $3.50 worth of clothes, which makes $28.50 besides my board. Very good pay for what little work I do. But I don't care how much they pay. The more the better if they are fools enough to keep me."